Everyone fears Hades because he rules the underworld. But there's a Greek god who skinned people alive for fun. Another who ate children at dinner parties. At number 1, tortured innocent babies in their cribs, then made sure they lived long enough to suffer more. If you think Hades is the villain of Greek mythology, you have no idea what's coming. These are the 5 Greek gods that make Hades look like a saint. And by number 1, you'll understand why the ancient Greeks slept with the lights on. Hades gets a bad reputation. God of the dead, Lord of the Underworld, the ultimate villain in every movie. But here's the truth that Hollywood won't tell you. Hades was actually one of the least evil gods in Greek mythology. He didn't cheat. He didn't torture for pleasure. He just did his job. But the gods I'm about to show you, they were monsters, sadists, psychopaths with immortal power. And the ancient Greeks were absolutely terrified of them. Let's start with number 5. And trust me, it only gets darker from here. Number 5, Ares, the god of war. Now you might be thinking, war gods are supposed to be brutal, right? Wrong. There's a difference between a god of honorable combat and a god who genuinely delighted in suffering. And Ares was the latter. Unlike Athena, who represented strategy and wisdom in battle, Ares represented pure bloodlust. He didn't care who won or lost. He just wanted carnage. In the Iliad, even Zeus called his own son Ares the most hateful of all gods. Because Ares would switch sides mid-battle just to make wars last longer. More suffering, more screaming, more blood. The Greeks didn't build many temples to honor Ares. They built what few existed to beg him to stay away. And here's the most disturbing part. Ancient texts describe Ares walking through battlefields while soldiers were still dying. Not to help them, not to honor them, just to feed on the atmosphere of terror and pain. That's not a war god. That's a demon with a title. But Ares is nothing compared to number 4. Number 4, Dionysus, the god of wine and madness. Hollywood shows you Dionysus as the fun party god, right? Wine, celebration, good times. But the real Dionysus was one of the most psychologically sadistic gods in the entire pantheon. Here's what they don't teach you in school. Dionysus had the power to drive people into a state of divine madness called mania. And when he triggered it, those people would rip apart anything in their path, including their own families. Let me tell you the story of King Pentheus. He disrespected Dionysus by banning his worship. So Dionysus drove the women of the city into frenzy, including Pentheus's own mother. She and the other women hunted Pentheus through the mountains like an animal, tore him apart with their bare hands, and his mother mounted his head on a spike, believing she'd killed a lion. When the madness lifted and she realized she was holding her own son's head, she lost her mind permanently. And Dionysus, he laughed. Dionysus didn't just kill people, he made them destroy themselves, then watched. But number 3 is where this gets truly horrifying. Number 3, Artemis, goddess of the hunt. And this is the one that genuinely disturbed me. You know Artemis is the protector of animals and young women, right? The virgin goddess who valued purity and nature. That's the version they want you to believe. The real Artemis was a cold-blooded killer who destroyed innocent people over the smallest perceived offences. Take the hunter Actaeon. He was tracking prey through the forest when he stumbled across Artemis bathing in a stream. He didn't touch her, didn't threaten her. He saw her by accident. So Artemis transformed him into a stag, and his own hunting dogs, animals he'd raised and trained, tore him apart while he was still conscious. Then there's Niobe, a mother who made the mistake of publicly boasting that she had more children than Artemis's mother, Leto. That's it. One prideful comment. So Artemis and her brother Apollo hunted down all 14 of Niobe's children and killed them with arrows, one by one, while Niobe stood there watching. Then they turned her to stone, frozen forever in grief, tears running down her petrified face for eternity. And then there's the myth of Iphigenia. The Greek fleet was stuck at port because Artemis was offended. The gods declared the only solution was to sacrifice a virgin girl. So Agamemnon was forced to bring his own daughter to an altar and kill her, just to earn the right to set sail. The goddess he claims to protect the innocent demanded a child murdered in her name. That's not justice. That's cruelty dressed in divinity. And we're only at number 3. Number 2, Apollo, god of music, poetry, and the sun. Apollo is supposed to be the golden boy of Olympus, beautiful, talented, enlightened. But Apollo's ego was so fragile that any challenge to it ended in torture. There was a satyr named Marsyas who was a gifted musician. He challenged Apollo to a contest. The judges declared it a draw, so Apollo demanded a rematch, this time playing their instruments upside down. Apollo won, and then, as his prize, he tied Marsyas to a tree and skinned him alive, every inch, while Marsyas screamed because he had dared to compete. Then there's how Apollo treated people who rejected him. The nymph Daphne fled from him through the forest in terror and begged the gods to save her. They turned her into a laurel tree, and Apollo, rather than feeling any shame, wore her leaves as a crown for eternity, a trophy of the woman who would rather become a tree than be with him. When the prophetess Cassandra rejected his advances, he cursed her. She would see the future perfectly, every disaster, every death, but no one would ever believe her. She watched Troy fall. She warned everyone, and no one listened. Apollo didn't just punish people. He found the cruelest possible way to make each punishment personal. But there's one god worse than all of them. And when I tell you who it is, you'll realize the most evil deity in Greek mythology was hiding in plain sight. Number 1, Hera, queen of the gods, and the most evil figure in all of Greek mythology. Everyone focuses on Zeus's crimes, but Hera's revenge was 1,000 times worse, because she always punished the victims. Zeus assaulted or deceived mortal women, and Hera made those women and their innocent children pay for it for the rest of their lives. Leto was pregnant with Apollo and Artemis when Hera declared that no land on earth could shelter her. She wandered the world, unable to find a single place to give birth, hunted and exhausted. Semele was manipulated by Hera into asking Zeus to reveal his true divine form. She didn't know what she was asking. The moment Zeus complied, the light incinerated her alive while she was pregnant. And then there's Hercules. Hercules was an infant in his crib when Hera sent 2 serpents to strangle him in his sleep. A baby, guilty of nothing except existing. When that failed, Hera waited. And when Hercules had built a life, a wife, children, a home, Hera drove him into a madness so complete that he murdered his entire family with his own hands. When he came back to himself and understood what he'd done, he tried to end his own life. But Hera wouldn't let him die. She wanted him to carry that grief, so she engineered the 12 labors, 12 near impossible tasks, most designed to kill him. And even after he completed every single one, she continued to torment him until his final breath. Hera didn't punish the guilty. She hunted the innocent. She murdered babies. She made a hero live with the memory of killing his own children. And she did all of it from a golden throne as the Queen of Heaven.
So why do we call Hades the villain? Because he rules the underworld? Because death makes us uncomfortable? Hades never tortured anyone who didn't deserve it. He was strict, he was cold, but he was fair. These 5 gods murdered innocents, tortured children, and destroyed lives on a whim. And they're the ones with the grand temples and the hero worship. Greek mythology isn't a fairy tale, it's a warning. The gods aren't the good guys. They never were. If this changed how you see mythology, wait until you see what's next. Because I'm covering the Egyptian god that makes every single one of these look gentle by comparison. It's already up. Go watch it now. And drop a comment. Which one got to you the most? Artemis or Hera at number 1? Subscribe, because we're just getting started.